Good morning. My name is Stacy Wood. I'm a public information officer here with Buncombe County Government. Thank you for joining us for the December 9th community briefing. Admiral Pender is not here with us today, so I will be providing the county's updates. We will also have updates from the city of Asheville as well. And we are going to start the briefing with some important information about FEMA deadlines. There are now 29 days left in the FEMA Hurricane Helene disaster application period. The deadline is January 7th. Those who do not apply by this date and later find that they have Helene-related damages may be excluded from disaster recovery cash grants. So, create an account and apply, even if you don't currently have immediate needs. This may be helpful in the future. And now we'll hear a little bit about rental assistance from FEMA. FEMA will pay your rent and a security deposit at a place other than your damaged home. This can be a house, an apartment, hotel, or recreational vehicle that keeps you near your home, job, or school. Funding can also include utilities such as electricity and water, but first you must apply. The quickest way to apply for FEMA is online at disasterassistance.gov. You can also apply by phone at 1-800-621-3362. Again, that number is 1-800-621-3362. To apply in person in Buncombe County, visit the Asheville Mall Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's also a mobile disaster recovery center today, Monday, December 9th, at Fairview Public Library from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And now an overview of assistance programs that are available for those recovering from Helene. This includes the Helene Recovery Housing Assistance Grant, the Private Property Debris Removal Program, and the USDA Emergency Watershed Protection Program. Helene Recovery Housing Assistance Grant. The application period for this is open currently. This grant aims to help residents who continue to face financial impacts from the storm and are unable to make important payments. The Helene Recovery Housing Assistance Grant provides up to 3 months of support for rent, mortgage payments, or utility bills. Eligibility. You must have lived in Buncombe County prior to September 26, 2024. Your finances must have been negatively impacted by Hurricane Helene. Your income must be within 80% of the area median income. For example, this is $74,800 per year for a family of 4. The grant doesn't cover things like debris removal, energy costs such as fuel oil, internet, property taxes, credit card bills, insurance, or lost food from the storm. Other programs like FEMA disaster assistance and private property debris removal may help with those costs. Applications will close on December 18th at 5 p.m. Funds are limited, so unfortunately not everyone who is eligible will receive funds, but we encourage you to apply at buncombeready.org. Transitioning to private property debris removal program. Well over 1,000 people have applied to have qualified disaster debris removed from their property at no cost through the Private Property Debris Removal Program, otherwise known as PPDR. The program also covers the demolition of eligible unsafe structures. So here are some important things you need to know about private property debris removal. Private property debris removal is different than debris collection on public right-of-ways. Private property debris removal is where crews have to enter a private property to evaluate and collect debris. We have been and will continue to collect debris at public right-of-ways. If you are able to bring your debris to the right-of-way, the public right-of-way, you do not have to apply for private property debris removal. To apply for private property debris removal, you can visit one of our private property debris removal application centers located at the Asheville Mall, Barnardsville Fire Department, Swannanoa Fire Department on Beech Tree Road, and Fairview Library. Applications can also be submitted online buncomready.org. You can also call the One Buncombe hotline and press option 2 to be routed to the private property debris removal program. And that number is 828-250-6100. Buncombe County residents affected by Hurricane Helene may qualify for the USDA Emergency Watershed Protection Program, also referred to as EWP. EWP addresses damage, threatening structures, roads, bridges, or other infrastructure. EWP covers assistance for debris, clogged waterways, unstable stream banks, severe erosion impacting public infrastructure, windborne debris removal, and steep slopes at risk of sliding. Damage must pose a threat to existing structures or infrastructure. To apply, you can submit damage information via the county's property damage form. And I believe that QR code should be up on the screen. You can access this form by scanning the QR code on the screen, and we will also add this information to the chat. When submitting your information, please include photos of the damage. If you don't have computer access, you can give us a call at 828-250-4785. Again, that number is 828-250-4785. And now we're going to transition to the Low-Income Energy Assistance Program. While not directly related to Helene recovery, the state's Low-Income Energy Assistance Program is also available to help with heating bills. The Low-Income Energy Assistance Program is now accepting applications for one-time heating bill help for low-income households. Payments go directly to heating vendors. Households, including a person age 60 or older, or a disabled person receiving services through the NC Division of Aging and Adult Services, are eligible to sign up for assistance now until December 31st. At that point, all other households may apply from January 1st to March 31st until funds are exhausted. So that application period is open now for people over the age of 60 or a disabled person who is receiving services through the Division of Aging and Adult Services. So that is and will continue to be open until March 31st. So it's kind of a tiered application process for specific populations. So apply online at epass.nc.gov or by phone at 828-250-5500. You can also apply in person at 40 Cox Avenue, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Solid waste updates. FCC continues its transition into the community as the new trash and recycling service provider for unincorporated areas of Buncombe County. Last week, 15,000 carts were removed and replaced. Today, FCC crews are working on any missed locations where carts might not have been delivered. If you have no carts currently, meaning your Waste Pro carts were picked up and your FCC carts were not delivered, we ask that you place materials out in secured bags, and Waste Pro will pick them up on collection day. If you have had no carts for several days, please call FCC at 828-820-7022, and FCC will prioritize cart drop-off at your home. We understand that there are lots of moving parts with this transition. If you have questions, please check out our FAQ on buncombecounty.org and click on the big FCC banner at the top of the page. It has answers about cart pickup and drop off, pricing, bear carts, and more. Some of the common questions, and we're going to hit some of the common questions real quick. I enrolled weeks ago and I have not received a confirmation. What do I do? FCC will send out a mass email to everyone who has signed up, directing them to the FCC portal in mid-December. When will my Waste Pro carts be picked up? Do I have to leave it out? Carts will be removed during your recycling collection weeks. Waste Pro subscribers have 2 recycling collection weeks for service collection during December. Please leave your carts at the curb on your recycling collection day until 9 p.m. I purchased a bear cart from Waste Pro. Will FCC continue to service my bear cart, or will I have to purchase a new bear cart? Good news. If you've already purchased a bear cart from Waste Pro, you can continue to use it. FCC will come by and apply a decal sticker to your existing bear cart so that the route driver will know to provide service. So if you're a current Waste Pro customer in Buncombe County, you need to sign up with the FCC at fccenvironmental.com/Buncombe to continue service in the new year. Again, this does not apply to City of Asheville customers. Quick reminder that on December 13th, that's this coming Friday, household hazardous waste will be accepted at the landfill from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is for residential household hazardous waste only, not for commercial. Community care stations and water distribution sites. As a reminder to our community, we still have 4 community care stations open in Buncombe County. They are located at Morgan Hill Baptist Church, 594 Barnardsville Highway, Bethel United Methodist at 1050 Riceville Road, Owen Pool, 117 Stone Drive, Swannanoa, and Fairview Ingalls at 225 Charlotte Highway by Reynolds High. These will remain open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to continue to serve residents in these high impact areas. Buncombe County will continue to provide any information about these sites and any changes as available. And now a debris update. Crews continue to pick up debris in Buncombe County. As of yesterday, 453,870 cubic yards of debris have been picked up collectively in Buncombe County, Black Mountain, and the city of Asheville. While we continue to work on removal of around 10 million cubic yards of storm debris that Helene left behind, we encourage you to move storm debris to the public right-of-way and separate it into vegetative, construction, large appliances, hazardous waste, and electronics. Please don't bring debris to the landfill or place them in your new FCC carts. That concludes the county's report. And now we would like to ask Deborah Campbell, City of Asheville Manager, to come up for the city update. Come on up.
Thank you, Stacy. Good morning. Again, my name is Deborah Campbell, and I serve as the city manager for the city of Asheville. As usual, I want to start by thanking everyone in the community for your continued support and your ongoing efforts to contribute to our community's recovery from Tropical Storm Helene. We are on day 75 of our emergency response and recovery efforts. Today, I'm going to have brief updates on a variety of topics, and I'll give those details after we invite our Water Public Information Officer, Clay Chandler, to share some updates on the city's lead testing strategy for private plumbing and provide you with the damage assessment of the watershed for our Norfolk Dam. So at this time, I'll bring up Clay.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. All right, before we get to the watershed, I wanted to give you an update on where we are with our lead testing program. So as of December the 9th, just today, we've received more than 6,600 requests for lead testing. To meet increased demand for testing, we are working to increase capacity by contracting with additional North Carolina state certified laboratories. No details on that yet. We'll obviously share those as soon as we can. It's very important to note that we are providing 1 lead test kit per household and only 2 City of Asheville water customers. The full process for lead sampling typically takes around 2 to 3 weeks, but because of the increased demand, We are currently estimating a 4 to 6 week turnaround time for most test results. We are prioritizing sampling at our county and city schools that we've consistently tested in previous years. Obviously, schools serve vulnerable populations, in this case, children under 6, and are easily accessed and are geographically distributed throughout our distribution system. This will allow us to ensure optimal corrosion control has been restored. We are also prioritizing our lead sampling within our pre-existing compliance testing pool of homes. These are homes that we've tested multiple times over the years. These representative properties were most recently tested for lead and copper in July of 2024, so about 2 months before the storm. And they provide an opportunity to collect comparative testing data from before and after the restoration of the water system. This is another testing strategy that will allow us to ensure optimal corrosion control has been restored. And obviously, the results of these priority sampling pools will be made available on the city's water services recovery page. And we do have some results to report now, not from schools or testing pool, but from people who in the past, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, have requested a lead testing kit. So, and these results are posted on our water services recovery page at the very top. They were posted there a couple of hours ago. Out of 159 samples taken from mid to late November, 9 had detectable levels of lead on the first straw. Again, first straw is when that water has sat in that pipe for a minimum of 6 hours. Of those 9, only 3 were either at or exceeded the action level of 0.015 parts per million. Here is the most important part. After flushing for 30 seconds, out of 159 samples taken, 0 had detectable levels of lead. I'm going to say that again. Out of 159 samples, after flushing for 30 seconds, 0 had detectable levels of lead. These samples were taken from private homes throughout our distribution system, and the results are very similar to our regular compliant testing done every 3 years. And again, that compliant testing was done earlier this year. We are currently meeting our required 90th percentile target, meaning at least 90% of the first straw samples must have detectable levels of lead under the action limit of 0.015 parts per million. Again, first straw means water was collected straight from the faucet after sitting dormant for a minimum of 6 hours. And flush means water was collected for testing after flushing the faucet for 30 seconds. Another step we're kind of taking to increase capacity, Water Resources is coordinating with Asheville Fire to set up pickup and drop-off sites for lead test kits. Details, including exact locations, have not been finalized, but we will obviously share that information as soon as possible. Now to the watershed. That's the video. Could y'all get that to play? So here we are. This is the watershed at North Fork. This was December the 4th, which I believe was last Wednesday. And this is the first bird's eye view that we have been able to get of the watershed since the storm. You know, we've had personnel be able to walk over some parts of the watershed, but this drone video for the first time gives us kind of a full picture of the scope and the level of the damage that Helene did to our watersheds. As you can see there, that is a huge, huge landslide or flooding, maybe both. That is a tremendous amount of trees that came out of the ground, and when trees come out of the ground, they produce a lot of sand and a lot of silt, and sort of the stream that you see there, that obviously flows into the reservoir at North Fork. And so the practical takeaway of this, we think, is turbidity was 11.9 at 8 o'clock this morning. And again, you can see the sand and the silt there that eventually is going to make its way into the reservoir at North Fork. And so our best estimation right now is that turbidity levels that kind of hover between 10 and 12 for the foreseeable future may be the new normal. And that really underscores the importance of the Corps of Engineers pre-treatment system that is being integrated and activated as we speak. It also underscores the importance of sedimentation basins for our existing filters that would allow us to treat extremely turbid water, because we, again, as I mentioned before, we are one weather event like a blowing snowstorm, or as we get into the spring and summer months, a super intense thunderstorm with heavy winds from the turbidity and North Fork and Beetree, reaching a point where it puts our existing filtration and treatment processes out of commission. So that is my update for today. I know you'll have questions for me after, but for now, I'm going to turn it back to Ms. Campbell.
Thank you, Clay. I said I had a number of subject matters to cover, so I will now share brief updates on storm debris removal, clarification about trash and recycling services and carts, rental assistance and home repair programs, revisions to our daily update sheets, and close by inviting you to view or attend some upcoming city council meetings. Storm debris. To date, our debris contractors have collected 171,478 cubic yards of storm debris. Today, the contractor will have 48 trucks running. The trucks will be in the following zones: 2 in zone 1, which is West Asheville, 1 in zone 2, West Asheville, north of Haywood Road, 5 in zone 3, which is downtown Asheville. And additionally, zone 3 will have 3 mud silt crew operating 12 dump trucks. 7 in zones 4 and 5, north and northeast Asheville. 16 in zones 6, which is East Asheville. 7 in zones 7 and 8, which is southeast Asheville. And 2 debris separation crews and 7 tree crews will also operate in multiple zones. As a reminder, we ask the community not to park cars in front of storm debris piles to ensure that crews can collect storm debris. We've heard many residents are unsure who collects their trash and recycling, the city or the county contractor. We understand the confusion, as those with City of Asheville addresses may actually live in the county and vice versa. Additionally, receiving a City of Asheville water bill does not automatically mean you receive city-provided trash and recycling. The easiest way to confirm who provides your trash and recycling service is by checking your cart. Those with City of Asheville city service will have carts labeled with City of Asheville or display the city's logo. If you have a City of Asheville cart, no action is needed and your service isn't changing. The Asheville Regional Coalition for Home Repair, or ARCHER, is a single point of intake for low-income homeowners with storm damage who need home repairs. The city has allocated $1,465,000 to support this work in our community. ARCHER is made up of the following organizations: Asheville Area Habitat for Humanity, POTA, Emma Community Ownership, Community Action Opportunities, and Mountain Housing Opportunities. Community members who are interested in applying can find the application at www.ashevillehabitat.org. As a reminder, the city has funded $750,000 to Eblin Charities and Grace Covenant Presbyterian for rental assistance. Applications for rental assistance can be submitted over the phone for the program being managed by Eblin Charities by calling 828-255-3066 or visiting eblincharities.org/programs. This program is available to all individuals and families who need help paying for rent in the city of Asheville. For the program being managed by Grace, you can apply by visiting Grace Covenant Presbyterian Church at 789 Merriman Avenue between noon and 4 p.m. Monday through Sunday. More information is available by calling 828-254-3274. We encourage you to share this information with your neighbors. Information is also available and shared through the city's social media channels and is also available on the city's website at asheville.nc.gov/Helene/relief-assistance. Over the last 2 months, we've received positive feedback on the daily information sheets we have been distributing. Thank you to the media and our many neighbor and business leaders who helped us extend our reach by distributing the one-pagers through your networks. Your help in this area was critical, especially during the early days of our emergency response. Now that we have shifted out of emergency response and into early recovery efforts, we are moving from daily information sheets to weekly updates by email. Beginning this Thursday, December 12th, we will begin distributing information on recovery efforts through a weekly roundup e-newsletter. If you were receiving daily update emails, you will automatically be added to the weekly roundup distribution list. If you were not receiving daily updates and would like to receive the weekly roundup, please visit the city's website at asheville.nc.gov and click on the Sign Up for Updates button. You will have the option to receive both the weekly updates and/or updates specific to our recovery focus areas. And as always, you will have the option to unsubscribe at any time. And in closing, I'd like to invite the community to tune into the City Council Recovery Work Session on Tuesday, December 10th, tomorrow at 3 p.m. The work session will be a facilitated session focused on long-term recovery planning and will be followed by a formal City Council meeting at 5 p.m. As a reminder, public comment is not accepted at work sessions. The meetings can be viewed live or after the meeting on the city's YouTube channel, which is available on the front page of the city's website at www.asheville.nc.gov. Following the work session at 5, there is a regular business meeting where there are numerous recovery-related requested actions on this agenda. Also, there will be a public hearing to revise the 2024-2025 Housing and Urban Development Annual Action Plan. The city has been rewarded $1.7 million grant for Helene recovery. Staff is recommending the $1.7 million be used to help fund rental assistance, business restabilization grants, homeless emergency shelter, and community development grant program administration. And finally, thank you, Mayor, City Council, our local, state, and federal partners, our for-profit and nonprofit partners, and the community for your efforts. Although we have a long way to go, we are making steady progress, and we will build back better. Turn it back over to Stacy.
Okay, at this time, we will open the briefing up to any reporters who are on the Zoom call.
Hi, Stacy. John Boyle with Asheville Watchdog. I have several questions, a couple for Clay and then a couple for you.
All right, what do you want, Clay first or?
Since you're there, I guess we can go ahead and ask you.
Okay.
and I appreciate you going over in detail the FCC thing. I've gotten multiple people asking me about confusion about this. I'll try to whittle this down to a couple questions. This person asked, while the carts we're waiting to be carted away, where are we supposed to be putting our garbage bags and recycling? Apparently there's been some gap between taking the carts away and then getting the new carts. And then this person also spotted Waste Pro, looks like Waste Pro putting recycling and trash in the same truck, wondering if that's going to be separated or not. And then general complaints about the lack of communication out of FCC. So that's a lot there, I realize, but if you could address those, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. Well, I'll start with the first question around guidance for folks who don't have a can currently or in that gap between Waste Pro cart pickup and FCC cart delivery. The guidance that we have been given from our solid waste team is to put your bagged garbage out. So make sure it's secured tight and, secured as secure as possible. But the guidance is to take that trash out on your pickup day, and they will pick it up off the curb or wherever it is usually placed. Wherever you usually place your cart is where you'll need to place that bag trash.
Okay. And what about this issue of recycling? And that might be more for Waste Pro, but I've heard that in the past too, recycling being dumped in with trash.
Yeah, that would certainly be a question for Waste Pro. And I mean, that's been directed to Waste Pro in the past. And if there are questions of that sort related to FCC, I would certainly direct you to them as well.
All right. And then on the communications with FCC, are y'all getting involved in that? It seems like that is problematic. People this person said never heard back, sent multiple emails, not getting a response, that sort of thing.
Sure. So for concerns that are, repetitive in nature, please call the One Buncombe call center, or you can call our solid waste department. And what is that number? What's that? One Buncombe call center. So we would direct people that have these kinds of concerns to call the One Buncombe call center, and they will be directing that caller to our solid waste department so that we are tracking those concerns as they come in, and then we are able to address those with FCC directly.
Good, thank you. And then I have questions for Clay.
He's right here.
Morning, John. But
Hey, good morning.
Before you get to your question, I want to clarify something. I said we were offering lead testing kits to City of Asheville water customers. That is not just customers within the city limits. That is everybody who gets a water bill from City of Asheville Water Resources. So those are people obviously in the county, Buncombe County, and the tiny little bit of Henderson County that we serve. Just wanted to make that clarification.
Okay, thank you for that. On the lead test results on the 159 that you've gotten back, were y'all able to track any similarities between the positives? Were these houses that were particularly old, or were there any kind of recurring themes among the 9 that did test positive?
I don't think there were any recurring themes as far as the age of the house. We do have a pretty good idea that according to what the customers told us, that their water had been sitting in their pipes for quite some time. Even after the boil water notice was lifted, they weren't using their water system very much. And so that water had sat in those pipes, and they had not been pulling our corrosion control into our system. That happened with, we're reasonably sure, at least 4, maybe 5 of those 9.
Okay. And with that, and you mentioned 30-second flush, if folks have been out of town or have not been using their water for whatever reason, I would assume they need to do a more thorough flush. What would you recommend in that case?
Yeah. If you've been gone on vacation for days at a time, every faucet in your house, or at least the ones that you draw water out of for consumption, the best way to tell that you're that you're flushing water that's in your pipes then and starting to replace it with new water from the distribution system is when you feel that temperature change on the cold water faucet. So, it often kind of starts out kind of warm. And once that new water from the distro system starts coming out of the faucet, it turns cool. Do that. Run that water until you can feel that temperature change. That's the best way to ensure that you're pushing old water out and bringing new water in.
Okay. And then on the debris video that you were showing, which was pretty eye-popping,
Yeah, it's astonishing, really.
so that appears, and I know you sort of mentioned this, but is that all along a stream bed that feeds North Fork?
It
All
is.
of that
It's
was,
along
okay.
one of the tributaries that feeds the reservoir at North Fork. And I could stand here until dinner time and show you various videos and still images that look just like that throughout the watershed at North Fork and at Beetree. It suffered extensive damage. And we kind of knew that just based on the eyeball test we've been able to put on it, but really having that drone fly over it provides us with the first bird's eye view of it, and it confirms what
Right.
we thought.
And is that an unnamed stream or is that actually North Fork?
That's a good question, John. I think that's an unnamed stream. Let me double check that, and I'll circle back with you this afternoon.
Okay. And last thing on that would be, how do you get that out of there? I'm assuming y'all do not want to leave all that wood and debris there. How do you go
It's
about that?
yeah. I honestly have no idea how you go about number one, removing the volume of that debris, and number two, keep in mind that's national forest, very, very thick forest. And so getting equipment up there would be an extreme challenge. I don't know that we've sort of figured out the next steps for that yet.
Okay. And then my last question would be the Army Corps project, reported the other day, it's a $39 million contract for 6 months, um, which would obviously when that 6 months runs out, are y'all hoping to keep them beyond that? And
We
how would
are,
that be?
yeah, we are hoping to keep those systems at North Fork and at Beetree until our filters have sediment basins on them.
And that's a new construction sediment basins?
Yeah, that's the $100 million filter project. 6 filters at North Fork, 2 at Beetree.
Right, okay. And would it, if it continues beyond the 6 month, would the hope be that FEMA would continue to foot the bill for it?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, good. That's all I've got for you. Thank
We have another question in the chat for Clay. Are the chlorine levels at the North Fork back to pre-Helene levels, or are we still highly chlorinating the water?
No, they're back between 1.8 and 2. That's kind of what it's floating around, and that's pre-Helene levels. And we have been at that level now for, what's today, December the 9th, a little over a month, almost a month, right around a month.
Any additional questions? Angelica? Okay, we'll go ahead and wrap up then. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back on Wednesday, December 11th with FEMA as our guest presenter. And a note for media partners on the call, tomorrow at 3 p.m. FEMA is hosting FEMA Roads and Bridges Task Force will host reporters for a special presentation where they will be sharing information about available assistance for roads or bridges on private property. You can find all the information presented here today and more at buncomready.org, or you can call One Buncombe Call Center at 828-250-6100. Thank you so much.